It can get very frustrating knowing you need to compress a sound, then picking up a compressor and not knowing what to do with it. This overwhelming feeling is very common among beginner engineers, and the last thing you want to do is destroy a good sound because you feel you can make it better with compression. Knowing exactly what to do whenever you pick up a compressor is such a milestone for any aspiring engineer. This not only boosts your productivity, but confidence as well. In this video, I'm going to teach you my secret mindset and technique as setting up a compressor that works every time on any compressor, even if it's my first time using it. By the end of the video, you will not only finally understand how to set up any compressor, but you will also start using it creatively in ways beyond just gain control. If this sounds like it might interest you, please like the video already, and hopefully you'll subscribe and drop a comment by the end of the video. Allow me make a compressor your new favorite tool. Let's go. Yo guys, I'm BiiMan and you're welcome to the video. This is the third and last episode in our ongoing compression series podcast. In the first episode, we discussed how to decide when it's appropriate to compress and when not to. In the second episode, we discussed the different types and categories of compressors and which works best in what scenario. In this episode, with the understanding that you are already familiar with which category the compressor plugins you own fall under, we'll discuss the controls in your compressor and the mindset you need to set it up. The typical controls you find in any compressor are input, output, threshold, ratio, attack, release, nay, side-chain, dry and wet mix. Some compressors go further to offer you the mid-side control option. My assumption is that you're not completely new to audio compression, so you already understand what these controls do. However, understanding what these controls do is not the same as understanding how to confidently and efficiently use it in your workflow. Using my traditional method of learning, we're going to break it down into 4 sections. 1. How to set up a compressor on vocals for different purposes and different results. 2. How to set up a compressor on drums for different purposes and different results. 3. How to set up a compressor on melody instruments. And 4. How to set up a compressor on the mix bus for different purposes and different results. Let's get straight to it. 1. Vocal compression. Everything starts and ends with intention. What does your dry vocal sound like and what do you expect to achieve from it with a compressor? Understand that a vocal does not stand alone in a mix. It's just like every other instrument, flowing with emotion, BPM, and groove of the song. This already tells you that compression is not only just gain control, but controlled gain control. If you want a consistent, snappy, and in-your-face vocal, you need to preserve some transients. Slow down on the attack, engage a fast release, and maintain an average ratio. This targets just the peaks and quickly lets go. Very ideal for rap vocals. Check out this example. So guys, before we get to the example, I just want to keep it transparent with you guys. I already have some effects going on the vocal, but these effects have no impact on the sound of the compressor. I have the trim tool here just for gain staging. I have the vocal rider just for volume automation. It actually helps the compressor work even better. And then I have the API vision here. I'm just using this for the noise gate. The lead vocal is routed to this bus called the lead mix. And on this bus track, I have the waves tune real time. This is just pitch correction to give us at least a decent raw vocal to work with. Now this is what the dry vocal sounds like, and observe where it's picking at over here on the peak meter.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bound, I go slightly VPN.
On some very high peaks, the vocal is hitting almost negative 12 dB, but averagely, it's staying around negative 18 dB. So we want to keep it consistent around this negative 18 dB with the compressor. We want a consistent vocal that sounds snappy and still stays in your face. To achieve this, we are going to use a slow attack, a fast release, and an average ratio. a ratio of 4:1.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Sunday in the past, man they sleep with no kobo.
Let's increase the attack a bit to a faster setting.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Sunday in the past. Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN.
That's some good compression going on. Without,
pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN.
Now listen to the vocal with the rest of the effects and the instrumental.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Sunday in the past, man they sleep with no kobo. Give me the one way day, even a choco. See life hard, stone house inside Mboko. Na hard drive, no wheels inside the ghetto.
If you want a smooth vocal in a gentle low tempo song, you might need to engage a fast attack to shave off the transients. However, the way you set up the release depends. A fast release might help still keep the vocal up front if that's your intention, but a slow release will tuck the vocal right back into the mix. If you want a crushed vocal that belongs somewhere deep inside the mix, engage a fast attack, a slow release, and dig into the soul of the vocal with the threshold while setting up a high ratio. Drop your threshold to a level where the vocal is fully immersed into the compressor and then bring back the makeup gain to its initial level. How much gain reduction you get depends on how loud the dry vocal was. Check out this example. The dry vocal.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN.
Now guys, let's use this compressor to send the vocal right deep into the mix. We are going to use a medium ratio, a fast attack, and a slow release. Let's play the vocal and set up the threshold.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Sunday in the past, man they sleep with no kobo. Give me the one way day, even a choco.
Let's do it together with the instrumental.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Sunday in the past, man they sleep with no kobo. Give me the one way day, even a choco. See life hard, stone house inside Mboko. Na hard drive, no wheels inside the ghetto. So pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly.
And that's it guys, very quick and easy. This is without.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN.
And this is with.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN.
Now with the rest of the effects and the instrumental.
Pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS. Remove my shame like card from ATM. The money save my joy when the blessing no day around. Even if they not out of bond, I go slightly VPN. Sunday in the past, man they sleep with no kobo. Give me the one way day, even a choco. See life hard, stone house inside Mboko. Na hard drive, no wheels inside the ghetto. So pray make your blessing Joe locate me like GPS.
If you want a vocal that feels consistent, full, sort of not too compressed but very stable, you can engage two compressors like the 1176 and the LA2A. One takes control of the transients and the second takes control of the peaks and a bit of the body of the vocal. Check out this example. We are going to engage a fast attack since the LA2A has a slow attack.
Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my own life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but who knows?
And a fast release, obviously.
Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but who knows? One day man fi pull up in the Porsche, buy a house. Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up.
That's good over there. Now let's set up the LA2A.
Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but who knows? One day man fi pull up in the Porsche, buy a house, take you shopping, flop your 10 toes.
Let's do it while the instrumental plays.
Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but who knows? One day man fi pull up in the Porsche, buy a house, take you shopping, flop your 10 toes. I don't walk to the time, and the truth of the matter. Left all things inside the hands of the Almighty Father. Man fi just sleep, wake up.
And that's pretty much it, guys. You see, the LA2A is really crushing the vocal.
Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but who knows?
The 1176 is just taking care of the transients.
Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but who knows? One day man fi pull up in the Porsche, buy a house, take you shopping, flop your 10 toes. I don't walk to the time, and the truth of the matter. Left all things inside the hands of the Almighty Father.
Let's hear with the rest of the effects.
Life slow. Life slow. Anyhow, they man if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup, but who knows? One day man fi pull up in the Porsche, buy a house, take you shopping, flop your 10 toes. I don't walk to the time, and the truth of the matter. Left all things inside the hands of the Almighty Father. Man fi just sleep, wake up in a Maserati. The next day to a paparazzi.
You can also use parallel compression. In this case, the first compressor gently controls the transients while you crush a copy of the vocal in parallel mode, then blend the two together. On the parallel copy of the vocal, use the highest ratio your compressor has to offer, a fast attack, and a fairly fast release. Guys, you know what's up. If you're gaining value or just finding this video interesting, please go right ahead and like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment. 2. Drum compression. The kick drum. Guys, at this point in the video, if you're really following up closely, you should be able to tell by now that the key to shaping any sound with a compressor is hugely determined firstly by how you set up your attack and release, and secondly by how much you are digging into the sound with the threshold and ratio. On a kick drum, you can use the compressor to shape the kick and make it sound just how you imagine it. As mentioned in the previous episode, everything lies in understanding the components that make up the envelope of a sound. This is called ADSR. ADSR stands for attack, decay, sustain, and release. Understanding how to shape the different sections in a sound is one of the major elements of sound design. With a kick drum, for example, you can set up a compressor to target either the attack of the kick, the decay of the kick, the sustain of the kick, and or the release of the kick. I want you to employ your own imagination skills and achieve what you are aiming for. I don't know what your kick sounds like, and I don't know what it is you hope to design, so I can only tell you what makes up your kick and how to shape every section of it with a compressor to achieve your desired effect. Check out this example, guys. Let's shape this kick together. This is without compression. As you can hear, this kick has a snappy punch and a fat body. Let's just play with these controls and see what we can achieve with the compressor. First, let's bring down the ratio. Give it a slow attack so it doesn't touch the transients of the kick. Then let's use a fast release. This is going to affect just the sustain and decay of the kick. You see? Without and with. A completely different sound. Without and with. But as you can tell, it sounded much better without the compression. That's the more reason I advised in the previous episode to carefully pick a good kick drum and forget about compression. But if you must shape the envelope of the kick with a compressor, then these are the controls you need to pay attention to. So you can really use this for aesthetic reasons if you really want to shape your kick a certain way to fit with your instrumental, like I did on this instrumental. This is the kick without compression. With compression. I use a fast attack and a medium release. And with the rest of the instrumental. Three, melody instruments. Guys, approach most melody instruments with the same mindset as vocals, except for spiky instruments like plucks, acoustic guitars, or generally any instruments that have sharp transients. In this case, use the attack and release to control the spikes, but obviously only if they have any negative effect in the rest of the mix. There's this particular instrument that was poking out too much on this instrumental. I used a compressor to tame it. This is without the compressor. So I engaged a very fast attack and a very almost fast release. And this is how it sounds like. You feel a very huge difference. You can notice here it's compressing a lot. This is how it looks like on the peak meter with no compression. With compression. You can see we are gaining some headroom and it still sounds much more alive with the compressor than without. Without. And with. With the rest of the instrumental. Four, the mix bus. On the mix bus, you want to be careful with compression because you can make or destroy a good mix with just how much you handle the mix bus compression. The first advice here is to keep it subtle and simple. Let's break it down into two sections, the drum mix bus, the master bus. In the drum mix bus, understand that you're no longer shaping the ADSR of just the single sample, but a combination of different elements that make up drums put together. My first drum bus rule is use a fast release. If you use a slow release, the chances of you messing up the drum groove get very high. If you want overall snappy drums, use a slow attack and a fast release. This ignores transients and peaks, brings up the body of the drums while amplifying the effect of the transients. Guys, check out the API 2500 on the drum bus. We are engaging a very slow attack and a fast release, and we are compressing not more than 2 dB. We are also using a softener. This lets the transients pass through. Without. And with. with the rest of the instrumental and the vocals.
Life slow. Any high day, man, if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup. But who knows? One day, man, if you pull up in the Porsche, buy a house, take it shopping, flop your 10 toes.
While doing some prep work for this video, I came across this guy's video. He is Simon the Engineer on TikTok. Dude is killing it. Guys, go check him out and tap in some more on this topic.
You need to listen to the attack and the release. That's where it starts to get quieter and where it starts to not be quiet anymore. Here's 20-1. This is fast attack, fast release. Listen to the beginning of every drum beat. Hear how the beginning is quieter. Now, as I turn the attack slower, it's at the fastest setting right now. You hear the beginning of each beat start to open up till we get to the bottom. Here's turning the release. Hear the difference in sound? Let me do that again. It gets louder because the release goes back faster, meaning it's able to recover faster, so it gets louder. So you can really shape the sound with these compressors.
The master bus. Understand that master bus compression is even more trickier than drum bus compression, because now it's not just only drums you have to consider, but every other element in the mix. Personally, I always consider master bus compression as mid-range compression. You can't compress everything here because the drums will always poke out with the most energy, and if you want the compressor to react to every other instrument, it's going to have to crush and destroy your drums first to get there. This is why most mixed bus compressors always have a Hipass Side-chain control. This lets the compressor ignore the low end, which is most likely already compressed with a drum bus compressor, and focus on the low mid, the mid and high frequencies. This greatly helps in smoothly gluing everything together. This too is also why you always hear this advice to use a slow attack and fast release on the master bus compression. This helps take care of only extreme sounds and quickly lets go so it doesn't mess up the groove of the mix. Check out this example. So guys, on the master bus, I use the Manly Vari from Universal Audio. I use the fastest release. On this compressor, it's called the recovery, and I used a medium attack.
Life slow. Any high day, man, if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup. But who knows? One day, man, if you pull up in the Porsche, buy a house, take.
You also notice that I use this Hipass Side-chain over here. When you engage this control, the compressor takes it easy on the low end, which is mostly kick and bass, and it focuses more on the low mid and mid of the mix.
Life slow. Any high day, man, if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup. But who knows?
If I don't engage the Hipass Side-chain, you'll see a lot of compression happening and killing the punch of the kick. Let me show you. You'll notice it's compressing up to 2 dB.
Life slow. Any high day, man, if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup. But who knows?
But when we engage the Hipass Side-chain, you'll notice we are not getting that much compression.
Life slow. Any high day, man, if you give up, now Jehovah still they like my only backup. But who knows? One day, man, if you pull up in the Porsche, buy a house, take it shopping, flop your 10 toes. I don't walk to the down, the truth of the matter. Left all things inside the hands of the Almighty Father. Man, for your sleep, wake up in the Maserati. The next day, to a paparazzi.
In conclusion, guys, I can't talk about compression without insisting that you pay attention to details. A single wrong compressor move can easily mess up a good mix. If you're not very sure of your intentions to compress, it's best advised to leave the sound alone. A quick recap. Throughout this series, we have discussed when to compress and when not to, what compressor works best in what situation and on what material, and finally, how to set up your compressor for best desired results. This wraps up the series, guys, but not the conversation on compression, as you still keep getting videos from me ranting about compression. That brings us to the end of the video. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.